Hello there everybody, welcome back to another review, and this is going to be for Scream 6, and this is directed by Matt Bettinelli, Alpin and Tyler Gillett, and stars Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. Ghostface is now in New York, targeting the Carpenter sisters once again. Now just a heads up guys, I've been reviewing all of the Scream movies, so if you want to check them out, they'll be in the link down below. And just a heads up, there will be spoilers in this review, so if you don't want to know who the Ghostface killer is, or killers, maybe come back after you've watched the movie. Well guys, I gotta admit, I know a lot of people do not like this film, but I really enjoyed this movie when I first watched it in 2023. I didn't get all the hate at the time. I was like, wow, this movie kicks ass. What's everyone talking about? And I thought it was way better than Scream 5 and everything. It was actually my second favourite sequel at the time, just after Scream 4 there. And going into this one, I was quite excited to revisit it. This was my only second time watching it. I watched it at the cinema, of course, and now on 4K disc. So, did it hold up? Let's find out. Well, Scream 6 has a very interesting opening. We have Samara Weaving here, who is a Scream Queen herself, being killed straight away outside this restaurant, basically, in this alleyway. And it's kind of Drew Barrymore-esque, because there was a lot of talk that she was going to be in this movie, and she's a really big star these days, isn't she? She's killed off in the first 10 minutes, so I kind of like the way it did that, sort of throwing you off a little bit. I actually went into this film thinking she was actually going to be the killer because of the movie The Babysitter. She's not quite there, she's not quite that, she's just in a very memorable opening scene. I really like how she's saying, I'm in a restaurant that it's lit up red outside, and when Ghostface kills it, he goes, now I see red. Really cool line from Roger L. Jackson there. But what I really was intrigued about this opening, when I first seen it at the cinema, I thought they were going to do something that I've always wanted a Scream movie to do, and that is us knowing the identity of the killer and all of the group of friends not knowing that this killer is, but we as the audience do. I thought that would have been a really cool switch up, and I thought, oh, they're going for it. But of course, eventually, this Ghostface wannabe killer is killed by the real Ghostface, and it didn't quite come to that. Now, would that have worked for the entire film after seeing it in this opening? I'm not quite sure, but what I think would be really cool is if we had two Ghostface killers, one that we know the identity of, and one that we do not know the identity of, and how they're working together, but the camera kind of never shows you the other identity of one of the killers. So you've still got that whole guessing game going on, but the stakes are raised when this killer that we do know as Ghostface is around the other characters. I thought that'd be a really cool idea for a Scream movie. Didn't quite go in that direction though, but still a pretty entertaining opening. I really like how this movie pokes fun at conspiracy theories as well, because a lot of people think Sam is the actual killer from Scream 5 and that she framed Richie and Amber. And a lot of people kind of believe it because it's revealed later on why the Ghostface killers, you know, they've kind of set it up a little bit there. But it just is funny how people can believe anything, basically. We all know that she isn't the killer, and people surrounding her are pointing fingers at her and everything, throwing drinks all over her because they don't like her, because they actually think she's a killer because of some online rumour. I just think that shit's hilarious, and I love the way the movie plays on that. And Sidney Prescott is not actually in this film, but I didn't kind of miss Sidney in this one, to be honest. I think Melissa Barrera is a very capable actress, and I really like her character of Sam Carpenter. Not quite sure about the whole approach to her maybe being a killer. I don't really like the way it works on that. But I did really love her killer instincts in Scream 5 when she just took out Richie and stabbed him hundreds of times. So, yeah, I suppose I'm kind of up in arms about that. I don't really know which way I want the story to go, but I just feel like the story never actually tackles it full on. I never actually think that Sam is going to turn into a killer, ever. Even though the movie hints at it. But it makes her a little bit of an interesting character, I suppose, the way she's got these killer instincts. But yeah, I just like the way she's a good sister to her, you know, to Tara in this movie, even though she was estranged from her from a few years. And there are reasons for that, which are explained in Scream 5. But I think she's a really cool character, and, you know, someone who's a survivor already and is ready to go through it again. But I do really like the whole dynamic between the two sisters here as well, because Sam is very protective of Tara, but Tara kind of wants to live her own life, and she doesn't want Sam to be protecting her all the time. She is not going to let this whole three-day event that happened to them the year before overtake her life. And what I really like about that as a viewer is you can see both sides of the argument, where you would be protective as a sister, but also Tara does need to do her own thing and can't have Sam looking over her shoulder all the time. So I thought that was a really cool way of sort of seeing both sides of the argument. And of course, I really like how it comes together in the reveal, which I'll get to in a bit. I gotta admit, guys, for the first hour of this film, I was really loving it at the cinema. And again, on this rewatch, there's so many cool things that happen here. I think the movie is a lot more gory than the first four anyway. I know Scream 5 goes a little bit more gorier, but this one kind of goes for it as well. So many great kills here. But one of my favourite moments is the shotgun scene in the store. It's a really high tense moment where Ghostface is in this liquor store and he's got hold of a shotgun and everything, and he's taking people out, looking for Tara and Sam down the aisles. Just think that's a really cool ass moment there. And the whole New York setting, which I haven't mentioned yet, really worked to the advantage of the film as well, and Ghostface sort of killing these people off. There is one moment where a ladder is put between two apartments and characters are climbing over it, and obviously the last character to climb across, Ghostface is there and shakes the ladder and makes it fall to her death. I mean, that can something that can only really be done in apartment blocks. So New York, really great setting to do that kill. And I really like the train sequence with Mindy as well, where she's kind of missed the train and she's on the next one, and Ghostface is on the train, and the whole lighting, the way it works, goes dark and then bright again and then dark, and Ghostface is moving towards her and just stabs her there, blends in with the crowd because everyone's in Halloween costumes. Another great moment in the Scream franchise. So yeah, I really liked what the whole movie was doing with the New York setting. And Ghostface has got a little bit more of a beat up mask in this. It looks like kind of like they were doing the whole Halloween Kills approach there, where the mask is all burnt. This one just feels like the mask has been used a lot of times, which obviously it has when we learn in the reveal. But I really like the look of Ghostface here. It didn't have that clean look. It had that more raw, gritty approach look to it. And I thought this is possibly my favourite look of Ghostface so far. And Gale in this movie, again, great. I don't like how the movie opens with her being a bit of an asshole reporter, but that is soon forgotten. That's kind of one scene after Tara's punched her like Sidney did in the original film. But Gale is my favourite character in all of these movies. And even though I'm not really bothered about Sidney not returning in this film, I was happy to see Gale, and she kicks a bit of ass in this film. She gives Ghostface a good fight in her apartment block, but she's very determined and everything to get to the bottom of it and help these characters, trying to find out who this Ghostface killer is, really. But just on that moment where her big juicehead boyfriend is attacked in the apartment and killed, I really love how Ghostface is on the phone to her and he just says, all those muscles couldn't save him. Another great line from Roger L. Jackson there.
Sorry about your boyfriend. All those muscles didn't help much.
But like I said, guys, I really liked how the whole sister dynamic of them sort of being at each other's throats comes together at the end of the movie here, where Sam has got hold of Tara by the hand over this balcony and Ghostface is waiting at the bottom. But Tara says, you've got to let me go. You've got to. Sam has been trying to protect her all the way through the movie from Ghostface. But she says, you've got to let me go so you can free yourself and I can take Ghostface out. You've got to trust me to be able to take Ghostface out. So Sam gives her a knife, lets her go, and Tara basically kills Ethan there. And a great kill, by the way, right through his mouth there. Fucking love all that. But it's really the whole arc of the two sisters coming together and meeting nicely in the middle. Now, I do have a few mixed aspects on Scream 3. And this is just more of a personal sort of thing. But when Mindy and Kirby, who's came back in this movie, of course, are talking about horror films, I don't really agree with any of their statements. Which one's the best Nightmare on Elm Street? The original, both of them say. Well, there's some debate there. I mean, a lot of people do like Elm Street 3, myself included. That's my favourite Elm Street. So yeah, the way they both just agree, don't know about that. Candyman, the original or the Legacy sequel, both. No, no. Candyman is way better than the remake. The remake's pretty good from Nia DaCosta, but Candyman, the original, is where it's at. And Friday the 13th Part 2 and 4, they disagree on because that's their favourites. Yeah, Part 6 for me, or the remake, or even Part 3 is better than 4 and 2 for me. I know a lot of people will disagree with that, and a lot of people do love 4 and 2. Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's a high debate for 6 out of all of the movies there. So, yeah, I don't quite agree with all them little statements. It is fun to hear them say that, is Stu still alive? I think that's just sort of kind of playing and teasing the audience a little bit there for what things may come. I mean, they're kind of just having a bit of an insurance policy in case they need to bring Stu back at any point. And I gotta admit, guys, another mixed aspect of this movie is this whole Ghostface lair that we've got going on in this old theatre. It feels absolutely ridiculous that this is just in the middle of New York. No one's noticed it. I know it's kind of a lock-up and everything, a secure unit, but it just feels very silly. I mean, Mindy at one point even goes, the killer's lair. I mean, what are we, in a fucking kid's cartoon here? But what I like about it is the nostalgia trip. Seeing all these little props and everything from the films that came before it. I mean, it's a love letter to fans, and there's a lot of fan service there. Even Kenny, the cameraman's jacket, is in there, for God's sake. So it's cool to notice all these little things in this sort of mini museum, if you like. But having all them Ghostface sort of robes with the masks on the mannequins, it just seemed very silly to me. However, I did say I liked the first hour of this film, guys, and possibly even longer, you know, the first hour and 20. But when this whole reveal happens, the movie goes downhill for me, unfortunately. You got Quinn and Ethan's dad, the cop, which I predicted first time I watched this. I never hardly predict these movies, but I predicted he was going to be the killer. But to have 3 killers in this movie, there's actually 5 altogether if you count the first 2 dudes in the original opening. But to have 3 killer reveals, it just seemed like quantity over quality. Now, I will admit the motive here is pretty good because Richie was the actual sibling and son, of course. So they want to get their revenge back. I did like the whole motive more than Scream 5. I've talked about the motive in Scream 5 in my other review. But Quinn, like, this is where I get pissed off. Quinn being the killer is bullshit because it reminds me of Scream 3 where Roman Bridger was dead. We looked at him dead in that coffin, and the movie goes on for another 10 minutes, and then it's revealed that it's Roman. He faked his own death. I watched Quinn die. I seen her get killed by Ghostface. But her dad just says, oh yeah, I replaced the body. That's what it's great being the sleek detective. I can just get in, replace the body. Come on. No one fucking got onto that. No other police officer in this NYPD task force got onto him doing that. Where's the post-mortem with Quinn? I mean, come on. That cheats the audience. Quinn is no longer in the movie after the first 30 minutes, and how are we meant to guess that? You're cheating the audience, guys. Please don't do this in Scream 7 or any other future movie in Scream, for that matter. I also think Ethan, or whatever the fuck his name is, he says that's not his real name. I can't quite remember what his real name is. Maybe I missed that. But Ethan is a terrible Ghostface killer. Spider from fucking Avatar, yeah. The way he's just jumping around, trying to be psychotic and everything, I don't think the actor quite pulls that off, to be honest. I'm really sorry, but it just seems very Hamish. I mean, I'm like, what is this? Fucking Scooby-Doo, come on. I mean, it's just so animated, and yeah, you just didn't see being a Ghostface killer. At least Quinn did a little bit, even though I hate her reveal. But no, not Ethan, no. I'm just not having him as a Ghostface killer at all. Now, guys, I know a lot of people will probably think I'm being harsh here, but Danny, played by Josh Segura, who they refer to as Cute Boy Across the Way in this movie, is a fucking terrible actor. I watched him in She-Hulk, and he's bad in this. There's just the faces he pulls, like, and his dialogue is so forced. Yeah, he's a fucking awful actor, man. I know he's a good-looking bloke, and that's probably why he gets parts and everything, but his acting ability he's just not for me at all. I can't take to this guy whatsoever. Also, guys, there's too many characters who just easily survive in this movie after being stabbed so many times. Mindy on the train, okay, we only see her stabbed 1 or 2 times, really, there, don't we? Gail, a little bit less more believable. She stabbed quite a bunch of numerous times in her apartment. But you're taking a piss with Chad. I mean, we watched 2 Ghostface killers stand either side of him and stab him about 437 times or something, and he's still fucking alive. Yeah, come on. When I seen him in that ambulance at the end, I forgot he survived, to be honest. And he's doing this little core 4 thing with the characters. I'm just like, no, that guy should be fucking dead. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now, guys. I'm going to give Scream 6 a 7 out of 10. I think I liked this movie a lot more when I first watched it, but on rewatch, it kind of did come down for me a little bit. I mean, I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd when I first watched it, but here, it's 3.5. So yeah, around the 7 out of 10 score for me. It's still an enjoyable sequel though. Still one of my favourite sequels, to be honest. Okay guys, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Scream 6 is that all of the props that we see in this Ghostface lair had to be recreated because there was no props left from the original movies, believe it or not. Hey guys, hope you all enjoyed this review. What do you think of Scream 6? Please do let me know in the comments down below. And if you want more horror movie reviews, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. It really helped me out. You all take care, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.